Okay, so I'm just making this quick tutorial for how to do skips. I wasn't gonna do this now. I was actually gonna do a tutorial for the Chariot and Justice fight. Um, but recently a runner named Freedom Pulse, was saying that he was having trouble with doing the skips, and I just wanted to make this video just to kind of show like how I do the skips. So I should probably mention I skip every single final block Tartarus boss except for Noble Seekers because Noble Seekers give you a reward that like actually is good, and the rest of the bosses don't. Well, except for like the fine statuette, but that I'm pretty sure that's given to you by the Jotun of Grief, which is a very long and tedious fight. Okay, so I'm just gonna go to a random floor here. So you can see that I skipped this fight because Fuka, let me turn this down. Jeez, this is loud. There you go. It's loud for me and not the OBS. But anyway, so as you can see here, there's these guys right here, and you know I skipped them because I was able to come back to this floor, and there were like a bunch of other floors that were available to me just readily available to me. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to skip these guys. Now, skips are essentially just use the menus and stuff to get past them. So you can use map, you can use the command menu, and you can use the triangle menu or the X menu or Y menu, whatever. Depends on like, yeah, or tab menu. Just this menu right here. Now I'm gonna try doing this, and it's not gonna work, and I'm gonna show you why. So that didn't work. I'm just gonna Alt F4. I closed the game with Alt F4. It doesn't do anything. It just closes the game faster than normal. Actually, I want to see something. Whatever, I can check that later. So the reason why that didn't work very well was because of my FPS. So you could see at the top. Can you see my? Yeah, you can see my mouse. So you see at the top right here it says 120. Now this, I got this not from the Steam FPS count because this doesn't look like that. I'm using the RivaTuner statistics server, which which alters your FPS. It can alter your FPS. It can increase the cap, lower the cap. So I have two hotkeys. One is to lower the cap to 30. You can see this is 30 now, and then 120. You can't see it's 120 because I record my videos at 60 FPS, but yeah. Well, hold on, I gotta hide this real quick. Just give me a sec. Yeah, my controller's screwed up. Sorry about that. But anyway. So we're going to go to here again. But this time I'm going to change my FPS to 30 and see how big of a difference that makes. Now, important to note, so I turbo all of these inputs using Steam input, which I'm going to show you how to do that after this skip. But pretty much the way that you want it, that I do it, is that I don't press them all at once. I try to do it in like a specific order. So it's like L2, R2, and start. I would have a controller set up, but for some reason it doesn't work very well on my PC, but it should look something sort of like this, I guess. Yeah. So you can see like I move at the first frame that I possibly can, and then I stop moving at the first frame I possibly can. So we're gonna try that again. So we just wait a little bit. And yeah, I just skipped this fight. And to show you that the boss barrier is actually active, here. Now, so that's like how you do the skips, but how do you set up the turbo? Because there is a turbo controller that is used, and there's just a bunch of different turbo controllers you can use, but none of them really let you turbo start, and also like start menu and command is like really awkward. But I'm just gonna hold on, window capture. I am going to show you what I use personally for this. It's this just whatever, it doesn't matter the size, but basically this is what I use. I use the Steam input settings. So the way you do this is you go into the game, and right next to the gear for settings there's a controller. You just click that and it takes you to here. So then what you can do, you can go to edit layout, and then you can see all of like what your buttons on your controller are mapped to. You can actually see all of my button mappings here. So I have minus set to a toggle for the X button. I was given permission to do that by Molsky, one of the mods. And then I'm on a Switch controller, by the way. So I have the capture button set to a toggle for the A button. Now, I also have start here, which start isn't used for anything other than the map. I have this set to a fire rate of 30. You want to set this to a fire rate of 30 because 30 FPS is the most consistent FPS for skips, and also because some people will say that it'll be registered as like you holding down a button instead of pressing a button. That's not what happens. It's just that the input gets interrupted a lot. And then for the triggers, ZL and ZR aren't used for anything, so I just set those to a turbo for the map button and a turbo for the menu button. So you can see right here. Now you might be wondering why I use map, menu, and you might be wondering why I use map, menu, and command. So the reason I do that is because the skips aren't entirely consistent. I've seen people able to consistently get them with just command turbo, but well, I'm actually not sure if Tatsuya gets those consistently, but yeah, this pretty much is just what I use for this. again, I'm not able to get the I'm not able to get the map. I'm not able to get the skips with just the command button, which I think is this. No, I think it's this actually. Whatever it is, I'm not able to get it. No, it is this. I'm not able to get the I'm not able to get it consistently with just the command button. I need the menu button and the map button as well for that. The idea of it, I mentioned that I don't press them all down at once. Screw you. My controller is weird. But anyway, I mentioned that I don't, oh, what is it? I mentioned that I don't use, that I don't press all of them at once. The reason for that is because the start button and the menu button, like, along with the command button, that's really just to, just to ensure I actually do get it. Because what's happened to me in the past is, there was always, like, what's happened to me in the past is that, like, it would work. It didn't work, like, a lot of the time, though. Like, they were super inconsistent for me just with just the command button. So then I decided to incorporate... Well, okay, I didn't decide this on my own. Molsky gave me the idea to use the menu button and the map button. I wasn't even sure if that worked, but it works perfectly because for every frame that you don't press for every frame that the command button misses an input, the map input or the menu input will be used. And overall, it's just for, like, overlap. Now, what happens if none of them do it? Well, you fail the skip, but that's why I save before I do my skips. I skip every single boss in the... Like I said, I skip every single boss in the final block of Tartarus. So, that's just... And that's what I do for that. I skip... Like I said, I save before every single skip, because there's some skips where it's just straight up faster to reload and try again than to fight the boss. And also just easier. Like, a lot of the endgame bosses are just, like... A lot of the endgame bosses are terrible. But yeah. That's pretty much all I can really say. If you have any questions, you can just put them in the Discord, or you can DM me. I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody might have. You can find me really easily in the Discord. Just go to speedrun.com, any Persona game, and then click on the Discord icon. You'll be thrown into the SMT Persona speedrunning Discord, and then you can either go into the Persona 3 portable channel, or you can just ask me, like, directly, like, hey, how do I do this? And I'll try to help you as best as I can. But yeah, that was my tutorial for skips. I hope it helps.